Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. How is everybody doing today? Let me get rid of this timer here. You'll have to be a little patient with me this morning. It's been a while since I've been here and kind of forget how to use my software. Oh, see, I just deleted myself. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Thank you so much for being here this morning. My name is Jana Edwards. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Corpus Christi, Texas, and I go live. I do a virtual class every week to show you how to use Stampin' Up's products. You can use the products I use. You can use products you already have in your stash, but I go live twice a week and we do what's called a class kit to go. So you can, the projects that we create during the week, there'll be 4 projects total. The projects that we create during the week, if you place a $50 order in my online store, I will send you the kit to create those projects that we create during the week. The only thing that you will need to have is the bundle that we use for the projects. Stampin' Up! Will not allow demonstrators to send pre-stamped images, so you'll need to have the bundle that we use or just use something that you have in your stash. But I'll send you the cardstock, the card bases, you get envelopes. I'll show you a sample of a kit here in just a second. If you're here with me, please leave me a comment and let me know that you're here joining me today. I would love to know where you're here joining me from, and if you have your coffee and you're ready to craft a little this morning, let me know. I changed up my coffee this morning and did a vanilla latte kind of thing and added a little bit of Mexico vanilla to my coffee, and it is so good. So good. My cousin got me hooked on the vanilla something from Starbucks, and I think my coffee is better than the Starbucks, so anyway, like I said, if you're here with me this morning, please leave me a comment and let me know that you're here. I would like to say thank you to everyone who participated in the free shipping event. Thank you for your orders during that event, and also thank you for my subscribers last week. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please let me know that you or anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for subscribing. Hi Tyra, thanks for being here this morning. I am going to go ahead and turn my camera down and get started on our projects today. We have 2 really cute projects using the Amber Autumn bundle. I think I called it the Autumn Toile Bundle in my description, but that's because it's part of a suite of products. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my camera down so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. These are some online exclusives. I'm gonna shut my door real quick. I put my dogs outside this morning so y'all didn't have to listen to them bark this morning. I'm gonna go over just a few of our online exclusives. These are our online exclusives for September. So if you haven't shopped the online exclusives yet, there's a link in the description of the video. You can click on that link and shop online exclusives there. But these are some of the cute ones for September that came out in September. And November the 4th, we will have new online exclusives available that you can purchase starting November the 4th. And I'm going to show you just a little sneak peek of some of them. Okay. So here's some of the products that they're going to have available for you. Really cute products. What we're playing with today, we're going to be crafting with it is called the Autumn Toile Suite. So we're going to be crafting with specifically this stamp set right here with the chestnuts and the acorns and the pumpkins. But we will be using the designer series paper and the embellishments, the ribbon and the embellishments that come with the suite. And then next week, we're going to be using the Autumn Trees bundle with the same paper, same embellishments, and same ribbon. All right. So this suite is on starts page 39 through, you can see all the cute things, 39 through 43. If you don't already have the new September to December mini catalog, send me a message and let me know that that you would like a catalog. You can actually request a catalog on my blog at stampedeninc.com. You can request a catalog there, and I'll be happy to send you a mini catalog or an annual catalog too if you don't have it. Tyra, the puppies, said hello. Gunnar said he misses you. All right, let me see. Our two projects that we're going to create today are these two cards here. We're going to create these two really cute cards here. Like I said, if you place a $50 order in my online store, I will send you a kit, and your kit will look like this when you receive it. It'll have a cute little tag from me, and then it'll have all of the cardstock and envelopes that you need to create. It'll come like this. All of your kits will come in an envelope. Each card kit will come in an envelope for you in a cute little cellophane bag with a tag from me, and it'll have a QR code that you can scan that leads back to the video, and it'll tell you which kit it's for. I hear Penny's little feet out in the hallway, Tyra. I think I'm gonna have to open the door and let her in now. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started with project 1. I'm going to grab my kit. I went ahead and pre-cut everything this morning for our projects because I like to keep these classes within an hour. All right. So we're using this stamp set, the Amber Autumn, isn't it pretty? Has the pumpkins and the acorns and then some really cute fall sentiments. And then these dies to cut out all of our images. Let me just show you these real quick. It comes with this really pretty background die, and you can see I used it yesterday and I forgot to punch out some of the negative space pieces. But it comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dies. And this little die right here is really cool because it's kind of like a double die. It will cut out you'll see it'll cut out the leaves, and then this little piece in the center, it cuts that out also. So it cuts out like 2 dies in one. And we'll use that die on, I think I'm going to go live tomorrow. My mom has an eye doctor's appointment, so I'm going to go live in the morning, tomorrow afternoon instead of Thursday like usual. My mom has an eye doctor's appointment. She's having eye surgery, so if you pray, add her to your prayer list for me, please. All right, so we're starting off with a gray granite, I think. I don't even remember what color this is. Hold on, let me make sure. Yes, gray granite piece of cardstock. That is, it measures 5.5. Is it 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So there's our base. And then we have a piece of white cardstock that is 3 3/4 by 5. I'm going to go ahead and do the inside of the card. So we'll add a little adhesive to this piece of white cardstock, and we're going to add this to the inside. And then I have a strip of this is called the Autumn Toile 12 by 12 Designer Series paper. Really pretty paper, has some really cute designs. So I have a strip of that is 1/2 inch by 5. We're going to add a little bit of adhesive to the back of this, and we're going to add it just to the bottom, just to add a little bit of interest to the inside of our card. We're going to add that strip to the bottom there. Okay, then I have another piece of the Designer Series paper that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and we're going to add some adhesive to the back of this. We're going to use this side of the designer series paper tomorrow. We'll use that side tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and add this to the card front, making sure to leave that little edge all the way around. Okay, then I have a piece of early espresso that measures, let's see, 3/4 by 5 1/4, I believe. No, 5 3/8, because it goes all the way across that piece of designer series paper. So I'm going to go ahead and add that just to the middle. Actually, I'm looking at my card, so I'm going to take a piece of the ribbon. Tyra said Penny wants to craft too. She probably does. So this is the ribbon that comes with the suite. It looks kind of like they'd taken chunks of sawdust, to me, like chunks of sawdust, and just glued it together and made a ribbon. But can you see that? I'm going to take a strip of this and I'm going to add it to just to the edge, to the bottom edge of this piece of chocolate chip cardstock. And I'm going to grab my silicone mat so that my adhesive won't stick. I'm going to add it to the bottom right of the cardstock, just like so. And then I'm going to stick this down right in the center of my card front. Trying to get it as centered as possible, just like so. All right, now I'm going to set this aside and we're going to do some stamping. I'm going to grab a piece of 1.5 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece of white cardstock. I'm going to grab, this card is pretty easy. Thank you. They're pretty easy to put together. The cards are pretty easy to put together, Tyra. Thanks for, she said it's already so cute. All right, so I'm going to use the stamp set that says thanks. I'm going to ink it up in my Early Espresso ink. Oh, on the red rubber stamps, you see how it has that edge there? So normally I would take a pair of scissors and I would cut that edge off, but I did not do that this time. So I'm going to, and my ink pad's a little juicy, so I'm going to go ahead and clean this off real quick, and I'm going to try again and try not to get so much ink on that edge, because when I stamp this onto my cardstock, it's going to, I run the risk of getting that edge on the cardstock. All right, so we did it just over to the right a little bit, because when we stamp and color our acorns and put them on this piece of, put them over this, you want to have enough room on your piece of white cardstock to layer that on top. All right, let me close this up before I get it all in my fingers. I'm going to grab my Memento, my Tuxedo Black, and then I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of cardstock. I'm going to set that stamp piece over. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of cardstock. I am inking this stamp up with my Memento ink because it is an alcohol-based ink, and when we color with our Stampin' Right markers, which are also alcohol-based, the outline of the black outline of the stamp will not bleed into the colors. All right, so I'm just going to stamp that right there. I'm so glad you're here with me this morning, Tyra. All right, so we have our stamped image. I'm going to let this dry just a little bit. I'm going to grab my bucket of Stampin' Right markers, and we're going to color our, let's see, we're going to color the, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see the coloring. I'll have to remind myself to zoom out when I get done. So I'm going to zoom in just so you can see the coloring. I'm going to use light and dark old olive for the leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take you can see the artist has left, let me see if I can get that the right way. Hold on. There we go. There are some dark marks in the images, these little slashed images. Those are indications where there would be like highlights, or where the shadow, I'm sorry, not highlights, but shadows where the sun hits the images. So I'm going to take my dark old olive marker and I'm going to just make some shadow marks, and then we'll go over those with our light old olive, and it'll blend everything together. I usually don't talk a lot when I'm coloring because it's like walking and chewing gum. I don't do that very well. I almost feel like, you know, you need to stick your tongue out and everything else to get it right. It takes a lot of concentration. Does anybody else like to color? I could sit and color. I got a notification from my Bible study group yesterday that they had a Bible journaling craft night last night, and I didn't read it until like late last night. I was kind of bummed out. I missed it. It would have been nice to go to. That's okay. I have a whole craft room full of stuff. I guess I could Bible journal in here by myself. I could invite a friend over. I'm just adding some shadow colors here where the shadow would hit the leaf. You could also color your leaves with some of the other colors. They could be yellow, they could be orange leaves. Now I'm going to use my light old olive and just go over and blend those in. That's a great thing about alcohol markers too, is that they are so blendable. I was very intimidated about coloring. You know, the only experience I ever had was with crayons. So I was very intimidated when they first started coming out with all these stamped images that you have to color. But once you get used to it, I really enjoy it. I have a team member that when she started, she was like, oh no, I don't like the colors, but I think she's kind of gotten into it as well. My favorite type of stamping is still two-step stamping, where you have the outline image and the solid image, and then you just stamp the solid image into the space. Okay, I'm going to grab my dark and light crumb cake and dark and light pecan pie. This is pecan pie, and this one is crumb cake. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing with the acorn. I'm just going to add some shadows in these little areas where the artist has left these little marks. And I'm using the fine tip of my marker to do that, since it's such a small image, small space. And now I'm just going to go over and color that little acorn. I think I need some new craft colored markers. It feels like my ink is almost out of this one. And alcohol markers are also buildable color too. So think of it like your makeup. You can, the more layers you put on, the darker it gets. And the alcohol markers are the same way. Like you can go over an image once with your light color and it's going to be light, but then if you go let it dry for a minute and you go over it again, it's going to be a little bit darker. So I'm using my dark here just to add a little bit more shadow because I want this to be a little darker, just like so. And now I'm going to use my light pecan pie on the stem here of this acorn. And then I'll just add a few little bits of dark with my dark pecan pie. I'm trying to look up to make sure I'm not out of view of the camera. All right, I'm going to go over the cap here like this. I'm going to go over the cap like this, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the second one, and I'm going to add the shadow right there. Then I'm going to use my light pecan pie and just color it in like so. Now I'm going to zoom out for you because I'm going to grab my cut and emboss machine. We'll use our little mini one for this one so I don't have to drag the big one out. I'm going to go ahead and grab the machine, get my cutting plates over here. And then I'm going to grab the die, this little die here, and some Post-it note tape because I want to use my Post-it note tape to hold my die in place. So let's see, it goes this way, and I'm going to use my Post-it note tape to hold my die in place so it does not move while we're cutting. And you just need one little strip. You could use a Post-it note. You could use washi tape. And we're just going to cut this out. Sorry for the shaking camera. And I have got the sniffles all of a sudden. All right. So there we go. There's our acorns. Yay! So cute. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of this white strip of paper, white cardstock that we put our sentiment on, and we're going to adhere that to the center of this piece. And you should have a border all the way around. I didn't cut it all the way to the edge, so you should have just a little bit of the early espresso peeking out. Then I'm going to grab my Stampin' Dimensionals. These are just little puffy square, little puffy octagon shapes that have some little foam behind them, and you use it just to add some dimension to your project, and I always go overboard. I'm going to grab a little one, and I'm going to add it right there because that's a smaller space. All right. We're going to remove the backing from this. And that little one there. And then we're going to just put our acorns right there in the center, or on this left side. I'm going to grab some of these adhesive. They're called streaked dots. It's the embellishment that comes with the kit. Thank you. Tyra said, this really is just so impressive. All the little details make a big impact. They do. I love details. I love all the details. All right, so I'm going to use 3 of the same size, and I'm going to use my take your pick tool. There's a putty end, and I'm going to just use this to pick up these little dots, and we're going to layer 3 right underneath our thanks here. And I'm just eyeballing. Just like so. And there we have it. There's our very first card. The inside. Quick and easy. That took us maybe, what, 10 minutes? So there's our first card. And the second card is a little more involved. So I think we'll start with the coloring and the cutting first. Give me just 1 second. Okay, I'm going to pull this out, and we're going to go ahead and get all of our pieces. Do a little housekeeping here. Okay. Oh, I better put this up before I lose it, my little die here. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and assemble the inside of the card again. You should have a piece of, in your kit, you'll have a piece of 3 1/4 by 5 piece of very vanilla cardstock, and a small strip of designer series paper that is a 1/2 inch by 3 3/4. So we're going to take this 1/2 inch strip and we're going to layer it right here on the side, just like the inside of the card here. All right, I'm going to use just a strip of Stampin' Seal. You could use your green glue if you have green glue, your liquid green glue if you want. I just find it's faster to use the I call it snail, but I know it's Stampin' Seal. So we're going to add that to the side and then add some more. And then just add this right to the center. And then you have a cute little space to do your sentiment. All right, so I'm going to set these aside. We're going to go ahead and color and die cut this pumpkin here. All right. And I'm using just a piece of cardstock that is 3 by 3. We're going to do the same thing we did with our acorn. We're going to ink up our image with our Memento ink because we are coloring with the alcohol markers again. You could also use watercolor pencils and then go over them with water to make it look more like a watercolor. I'm choosing to use the markers because that's what I have the most of. I looked at my watercolor pencils and I didn't have colors that I liked to use. I think I have just one of the assortment of watercolor pencils. All right. I am going to grab, let me zoom in just a tad for you. All right, we're going to do pumpkin pie. We're going to do dark pumpkin pie on our, actually, I think I have to sneeze. Hold on. Maybe not. Okay, I'm going to grab Lost Lagoon first. Sorry, I know that's noisy. Lost Lagoon. Where's my pumpkin pie? That's peach. And that's pumpkin pie. Okay. All right, so we're going to color this little pumpkin right here first. But we have 3, I guess maybe this one is a squash. I'm not really 100% sure, but we have 2 big pumpkins and some corn. So I'm going to go ahead and just color the shadow on our first little pumpkin here. I'm going to do, next week we'll do some fall type projects, and then the next week we'll start working on some Christmas projects. Sorry, excuse me. I tried to cover the mic. All right, we're going to use our light with the brush end, and we're just going to go over that pumpkin. I would love to do a kit night. Tyra, we'll have to talk about that. We'll get some ladies together and do a kit night one night. That would be fun. All right, I'm going to use my dark crumb cake, and I'm going to just color in the little hay underneath here. And I'm also going to use that to color in my stem on my pumpkin. Since I have it out, I'm just going to do all my pumpkin stems. Okay. I'm also going to use it to do some of the wheat pieces back here, the little stems on the wheat. and there. And what else? I'm going to use it to do these pieces, trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. All right. Now on my sample, I used the Lost Lagoon to color in the little flowers, the little blooms on the flowers here and down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to use, I don't know why I just decided to do the wheat and the flowers. I'm going to use the yellow to do the top of the wheat. Is that it? One more right there. Okay. All right, now I'm going to grab my dark pumpkin pie and I'm going to color the large pumpkin. Like so. And just a little bit right there. All right, then I'm going to grab the light pumpkin pie. Oops, I want the brush end. And we're going to just brush that pumpkin. If you make a mistake too, Stampin' Up! Has a color lifter that you can use to lift some of the color up off of your image. I'm going to use the light pumpkin pie to go over this gourd here, and then I'm going to color it in with a yellow color, and it's going to blend those colors together really pretty. Just like so. Okay. I forgot to color that one. And we're going to do our corn. We're going to do the dark, and then I'm going to use the light just to color it. Okay, and now I'm going to grab my old olive. We're going to color in our leaves. This one has a lot of little details in it. So if you want to watch the replay, you can go back and you can watch it in like double time. I have done that, and I find that I talk so slow that if you play it back in double time, you know how sometimes people will sound like a chipmunk? Like if you ever listen to Ben Shapiro, if you listen to him double time, he already talks so fast that he sounds like a chipmunk on steroids. But me, I find it sounds kind of normal. It's funny. I find I talk slower. All right, now I'm gonna I think I'm gonna grab the pecan pie, and we're gonna do our, not that end. I forgot I cut that one off. We're gonna do our corn husks in this dark pecan pie. I'm going to add just a little bit of texture on the back with a little bit of flecking. See, you could even do something like this and just take the square and pop it on a card front, and it would be fine. You wouldn't even have to use your die cut machine to cut that out. All right, so I'm going to grab my die cut machine again. And I may have to get the big one for this because I don't think that little one. All right, here we go. We got the big mama. Let me zoom out so you can see what I'm going to do here. So first of all, I'm going to take my piece of crumb cake here, and it is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I'm going to grab this detailed background die here, and we're going to center this on our plate. I'm going to use hold on. We're going to center that in the middle of that piece of cardstock and cut it out. I do have confidence that you could create something like this, Tyra. I've seen what you can do. Trust me, if I can do this, anybody can do this. Okay, so I'm gonna have to punch out all this negative space because it's like weeding in your Cricut. See, that's what I meant. This one is a little tedious because you have all of this this intricate work that goes through the machine, and so now you have to sit and weed out all of this. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. There's a Stampin' Up has a roller that fits on your, what's it called? I'm having a difficult time here. On your take your pick tool that you can just roll over this, but you know, I don't own that, so we'll just have to be patient here. And I've also heard that if you use a dryer sheet on top of your cardstock with something like this, that it will it'll help everything come out. You know, it pulls the paper. I've actually tried it before and it does work. But this is a lot of detail. And I probably should have run this through twice. I think it's easier if we do it this way. Punch it towards the front, maybe. Yeah, I should have run this through twice. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to do this one more time. Let me just, for the sake of time, I'm going to cut another piece and we're going to run this through here. So I'm cutting 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Oh, that's too short. Hold on. I'm just using my paper trimmer over here to cut another piece of cardstock. Down 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do this one more time. Okay. I'm going to do 2 passes. I'm going to do 2 passes this time. What did I do with the die? It's right here. All right. I'm going to pass it through twice just to get it to cut better so those pieces will come out better. So that's a tip. If you have this set or if you're planning on getting this set, make sure that when you run this through your machine, you'll hear the pop and then go back, come backwards. Actually, I think I'm going to go 3 times. Okay, there's a 3rd time. I went through twice yesterday when I was creating this, and it came out, everything came out pretty good. All right. Yeah, you see how that just pops out of there? And if I had that brush, I would just take it and run it over the top of this plate, and all of this would come out at one time. I guess I'm going to have to invest in that. Because Stampin' Up! Seems to be coming out with, they seem to be releasing more and more of these intricate dies. Okay, all the mess. It's like those t-shirts we were making all of this for a beautiful background. Usually I will pre-stamp and weed, I guess is what you would call it. I'm not sure what you call this, but I wanted to show you guys how much work this is, I guess. This is a learning teaching moment, right? I think after this, I'm going to go sit down and I am going to order that tool that goes on the back, that goes on the, on this. Take your pick tool. Whew. All right, I have a few pieces, but let me clean up my mess here. Right into the trash can down here. I want to do this first because I need to add some adhesive, some liquid glue to the back of it, and the multi-purpose adhesive, the green glue, this one here, if you let it sit for just a minute, so if you put it on your project and you let it sit, it becomes tacky instead of so liquid, and when you put your 2 pieces, or when you put your pieces together, it doesn't squish out of the sides. So I want to add the glue on here and let it dry while we're cutting out our other piece. We'll add some glue and set it aside. But this is gonna give me heartburn. Definitely speed this part up if you watch the replay. I wish we could, you know, live record in double time. Make it happen faster. Wow. All right, have that piece there, this piece here. And I wonder if you added a piece of adhesive sheet, if it would leave all these pieces on your adhesive sheet, or if they would just pull away when you pull your adhesive sheet back. That might be something I'll have to try too. I'll have to get out some scrap pieces of cardstock and play with that. Okay, almost done, almost done. Hang with me, hang with me. If you want, I have a fun fold that we'll be doing tomorrow. So if you want that fun fold in your coming to your inbox, subscribe to my email newsletter. There should be a link in the description of the video on my YouTube channel. I don't think I put it on my Facebook channel, but I'll add a link to the YouTube replay on Facebook, and you can go in the comments or in the description and you can subscribe to my email newsletter. And once a week I send out a free, whatever fun fold we do during class that week, I send out a free PDF for that fun fold. Thank you, friend. Tyra said, I'm literally incredible. And she said, this is nothing like making shirts. All right, so I'm gonna grab my silicone mat because your glue will not stick to the silicone mat. Your adhesive, any kind of adhesive, I don't care what it is, it will not stick to this. And especially if you're using green glue, you can get it on here and then just run your finger and it'll turn into like just a little ball of glue. So I'm gonna turn this over face down and I'm gonna grab my green glue. Let me zoom in for you just a little bit. I'm gonna grab my green glue and I'm gonna add just a bead along the edges, like so. Then I'm going to add just a few dots randomly on the bigger spaces so that when we put this down on our card front, it will stick. But you don't have to put it everywhere. It just needs to be, you know, it'll be okay if it doesn't, if it's not stuck, every inch of it isn't stuck down. So I'm just adding some random, and you'll see I'm adding some random pieces of just dots of glue. You'll see when we come back to this after it's had a chance to dry a little bit, this glue will have turned clear. All right, now I'm going to set this aside. I'm actually going to set it, turn this off so I don't move it. I'm going to set it right up here on my little shelf so it doesn't get on anything. I'm going to set it right there. Move these items out of the way. We'll grab our little machine again with our plates, and we're going to cut out our pumpkins. Okay. It took me a little while last night to figure out which way this went. Right there. But if you just twist and turn, you'll see how it fits inside how the image fits inside the die cut. All right, grab another little piece of, ooh, that's a big piece. Piece of Post-it note tape. If you use Post-it note tape when you're die cutting, your Post-it note tape will last quite a few cuts before you have to get another piece. All right. All right. And there's your die cut image. Move it back this way so you can see. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I also have a piece of very vanilla cardstock that is, it is a 1/2 inch by 3. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab the Grateful For You stamp and the Early Espresso ink, and I'm gonna stamp our sentiment on this piece of cardstock here. And I wanna go in the center of the cardstock because I'm gonna trim the ends at a diagonal and make like a little diagonal flag. So I'm gonna trim from this corner to this corner like so, and then this corner to this corner like so. Oops. So you have your little banner at the end. All right. We'll go ahead, so while that's still drying a little bit, I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of our cutout, our die cut pumpkins. Oh, I got 2 at a time. 1, 2. And I'm going to add just a, will the big one fit there? It sure will. Okay, so we have these pieces here, and you see how this has already started to turn a little clear. It's not so white. I'm going to go ahead and grab our card front, and I'm going to gently pick this up and place it right in the center of our card base, on the front of our card base, right there. Oh, there we go. And then we just press it down. Isn't that pretty? All right, now I'm going to take my liquid adhesive because there's some dimension here. I want to make sure that the liquid adhesive gets into the nooks and crannies, and it gives me, you know, it sticks down really well. So I'm going to use my liquid adhesive on this strip, and we're going to go just right in the center like so. Oh, you know what I did? I forgot to put my, all right, so we're going to do this. I'm going to lay down, I'm going to create like a Z with my ribbon here. So I want to make sure that I have enough right there, and I'm going to go like this, and then like this, and like this, and I'll probably have to cut it off some, but I want to make sure, yeah, I'm going to shorten that just a hair, and I'm going to shorten this one just a little bit. I'm going to take a piece of Scotch tape and tape that down just like so. My scissors, trim that end, and then I'm going to go ahead and remove the backings from our die cut pumpkins. That one needs to be gone. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and stick our die cut pumpkins right on top, just like that. Then I want our label is going to sit like this. So you want to add 2 dimensionals here on this side, but leave this side flat because it's going to lay down on your image. So I'm going to add 2 little dimensionals. I laid it down with the lettering face down towards me, so I know that I'm putting my dimensionals on the correct side. Then I'm going to take these backings off, and I'm going to add just a little bit of glue right there. So that way it will stick and that will stick. And there we have it, all done. Isn't that pretty? And you have the inside. So these are our cards for today. These are the cards that we created today. And if you will join me tomorrow, typically I go live Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I'm going to go live tomorrow at 3 o'clock because, like I said, my mom is having eye surgery and we'll have to be gone tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. We'll have to have her at the doctor. So we'll create, tomorrow we'll do this cute little fun fold here using the same products. And then we'll create this super simple card. This is basically 1 stamp, a few little die cuts. This is that die cut leaf that I was telling you about. That's so cute. Some die cut leaves and designer series paper. That's it. So we'll do these 2 cards tomorrow. If you'll join me tomorrow at 3 o'clock, we'll do those. And then I will be done. And I'll see you next week. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my email newsletter if you want the card kits for this week. All you need to do is place a $50 order in my online store and you'll get the kits to make these cards plus the other 2 that we're going to create tomorrow. And I'll ship those out next week. You just need to place your order by, when? By Sunday. Sunday the 2nd. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Tyra said, fabulous job. I'm so glad that you liked it. I'm glad that you were joining me. And now I need to go deal with a leak in my laundry room. So I'm hoping I don't have to buy a new washing machine, but something's leaking and I went last night to change the sheets out of the washer into the dryer and my floor was like buckled underneath the dryer and it had leaked from the washer all the way over to the dryer. So I know I'm going to have to tear some flooring up, which I'm not 100% thrilled about, but that's okay because God's got this, right? Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe this video, like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And thank you so much for my subscribers who subscribed last week. And I'll see you again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Okay? Thanks so much. Bye.